YouTube. Learn what triggers you. A trigger is something that sets off that automatic cascade of behavioral or thought process habits that have been programmed from our habitual way of existing into our unconscious as an autopilot response, whether that be fear, anxiety, negative self-talk, or bad habits, bad eating, stress eating, chain smoking, whatever your negative habit is, not drinking any water, that's more on adding a habit. All of these things have triggers that start this cascade in motion. Learn what your triggers are. When you have the urge to do that negative thing, or you are in the midst of doing that negative thing, catch yourself at the start of that ill at ease feeling, or that negative tirade, or that bad habit you're engaging in, and ask yourself, why did I start doing this? Backtrack yourself for a few minutes, half an hour, however long ago it was that you started. Try to catch yourself as early as possible. It makes it easier to backtrack. Backtrack yourself. Say, what happened? What did I hear, smell, see, touch? What was going on in my mind? What was happening just before this occurred? And see if you can start to pick up the triggers. Is it stress? Is it boredom? Is it a certain time of day? Is it a certain smell? Is it a certain thought pattern that you have when you think about this thing, then you go on this negative tirade? Is it approaching a certain thing that maybe you need to consider distancing your life from, like a friendship or your job? Or try and figure out your triggers, because this is empowering. If you want to remove certain things from your life and put an end to certain repetitive habits, it can be very helpful to know what your triggers are. Because when you know what your triggers are, you can begin to formulate a plan ahead of time. What can I do in that period of time to occupy myself a different behavior, a different reaction, a different thought pattern when I see or am exposed to that trigger? You can make these plans ahead of time so you have some sort of go-to response to pull out of your little toolkit and do. And if you can interrupt that processes from reaching for your old habit of thought or behavior for at least 5 to 10 minutes, the urge will dissipate, the craving will dissipate, the pattern will be interrupted in your neural network, because the urgency is immediate. Trigger response, like Pavlov's dog. If you can recognize your triggers and find a different outlet for that period of time of 5 to 10 minutes, you can move past the trigger response and interrupt that neural network and begin to insert different behaviors. If you do that enough, that will become your habituated response. Also, if you want to add more positive things into your life, you can plan triggers for yourself, like laying out a glass of water to drink in the morning, laying out your medication, vitamins, etc. if you have a habit of forgetting to take them, putting them in a visible area so you see them, setting out your workout or walking gear before you go to bed in a visible area so that you remember that this is something you wanted to engage in. Fruits and vegetables, putting them in a prominent visible spot, a bowl on the counter versus away in the fridge where you don't see them and you forget that you have them, creates new triggers in your life and you see and you respond. You see your workout clothes, you put them on. If at first you don't work out, at least you put them on. See your workout clothes, you put them on, you walk out on your porch. You may not get any farther, but hey, you're doing it. And eventually, see the fruit, pick up the fruit. See the fruit, pick up the fruit. See the fruit, eat the fruit. Eventually, these newly created triggers will also make you crave the thing if you do them consistently long enough and with quick enough succession to exposure to the trigger. So you can use triggers positively or to add positivity or remove negativity from your life. But you have to be aware of what your triggers are, and this involves a great deal of self-observation, insight, and willingness to be completely honest and transparent with yourself about what you get up to, good and bad, and introspection about why you might be doing, thinking, or being and behaving in a certain way at any given time. It's effort to figure out your triggers. But once you do, you can work to interrupt them, which is also effort. If you're willing to put in the time, you can help to change bad habits, and you can help to add good habits, which will give you a better lifestyle, a healthier feeling, a more sound mind, and a more positive attitude. So what triggers you? Think about it, figure it out, interrupt it. Good morning, goodbye.